Hey, good morning. I'm Steph, and I am an artist and many other things. And I'm stopping in to reflect for a bit on changes that I've been going through the past 2.5 years. Um, I was a long time public school art teacher other places as well. And I still am an art teacher. Um, but changes came about that encouraged me to leave the public school teaching profession. And that was a major shakeup and a something that I was like frankly bitter about for a while, and I don't have animosity about that anymore. I don't hold anyone accountable. Like, I think that it was something that was supposed to happen. I think that it was a really cool opportunity. Um, and since that time, I have had the opportunity to begin to recreate my life. And that is a really exciting thing and a really challenging thing because when we grow up, we are socialized a certain way, and we're taught that this is how the world works, and we develop a path, or we choose a path, or we fall in line with what our family or society tells us we should be doing. And the kind of normal thing in American society is to like go on that path. So I'm artistic, so I got my degree, and I went to the Peace Corps, and then I started my career in the public school system, and my family got divorced along the way. But anyways, like if I were to go like the traditional path, I would have toughed it out and still be teaching in the public school system, and go on to retirement. And there's actually, like, that's a beautiful thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. And in reality, the reason that I am able to do this is because my husband is at this time sticking with a path that he chose, and enabling me to explore a little bit more and grow and develop. And if I didn't have that security, it would be a way rougher path for me to explore and change and develop. So as I go on this, I have the opportunity to say, what do I want? What do I want out of life? Who do I want to be? And that's actually a challenging question when you had a like normal path to go on, and then all of a sudden you have this opportunity to say, what do I want? Like, if I could be anything, like, what do I want to be? So that has been the challenge. And in reality, even when I was teaching, I have always been an artist. I mean, my understanding is that we are all creative beings. We are all artists in our own right. I probably claim it more than a lot of people, and I've had the opportunity to claim it more than before. And that was one of the things when I was leaving education. It's like, this isn't going the way my life is supposed to be going. This isn't enabling me to utilize my talents the way that the talents and abilities that I have. And so I have to step away. It was like a choice between staying and doing something that wasn't at the time enabling me to utilize my gifts. And if I had gone that path, it was like I would have been saying no to my artist identity. And the idea of that became more terrifying than the idea of leaving the career that I had known for so long and the career that I loved. I worked with children. I worked with thousands of kids over my lifetime, and it was beautiful. And awesome coworkers, and getting to make art with kids every day, like that was a really beautiful thing that I am exceedingly grateful for. Magical. But it was time to change and discover the next part of myself. So during that time, I have been stepping into my identity as an artist, as a photographer, something newer, as a soulmate coach, which I also consider is still like kind of an art. And figuring out what's next. And it has not been easy. My old identity was cemented in there, and trying to change into the new identity has been scary, and it's felt like it was so tightly ingrained with the person that I was. But I feel it loosening. And I think one of the things that really threatened me and also made the identity loosen was being a photographer, and particularly being a boudoir photographer, because that deals with sensuality, and there's something like about being a public school teacher that it's kind of taboo to deal with sensuality. So celebrating other women and myself through boudoir photography has really challenged me, and also has loosened the glue between my former identity. But I'm still a work in progress, as I think we all are throughout our lives. And so I'm in flux and flow, working as a photographer, working as a soulmate coach, working as an artist. I also do other things, several times a week. I have a wonderful time taking care of some beautiful children each week, and I will also very soon be caring for my father-in-law. So those are bits and pieces. And as I go through this journey, I listen to other entrepreneurs talk, and they're like, it's like the idea of jack of all trades, master of none. And there's this idea that you need to focus on something or you will not achieve it, and that's something that you won't achieve as much. And I really am coming to the idea that is actually a very individual thing, and I can follow that, but that is actually not the way that I am wired. I am specifically wired as an artist, and it's not, for me, a linear progression. And so I can read all the books, I can listen to all the information, but it's coming to a point where I have to turn internally. And I kind of think of it as they've done these studies on stress, and there's post-traumatic growth. If you go through a stressful situation and you think that stress is toxic and that it's tearing you down, and it will be your demise, then it will in fact be your demise. But if you believe that you are growing stronger from that stress, then you will in fact grow stronger from that stress and that change. And that's how I started to think about the different areas that I am exploring. If I believe that I can only do one thing or two things, then that's all I can do. If I believe that I am a multifaceted artist who needs to act up on my impulses and my growth, and that I can do multiple things, then I can do it. And I am kind of like holding up like a person like Joni Mitchell, who was an artist, who was a musician. And I saw an interview with her recently, and she's like, I just did whatever I wanted, whatever I was called to do, and it worked for her. So that is what for another person, maybe that they need that one directed path. But I'm coming to the conclusion that that is not me. I am uniquely designed to be who I am uniquely designed to be, and that is multifaceted. That is a teacher. That is a photographer. That is a soulmate coach. That is an imperfect environmentalist. That is a political activist. That is all of those things, and I can do it because that's who I was designed to be. And that is what I have claimed. I think I've known it the whole time, but I've been fighting against it because that's not conventional wisdom. But I'm not everybody, so I have to do what works for me. Yeah. So this is what I've been processing, and working my butt off to manifest things, to change myself. I believe in manifestation. I believe in examining your life. The reason that I can soulmate coach is because that was one of my huge stumbling blocks. Getting into a marriage that was toxic, and that's not anything against my ex-spouse. I'm friends with him, but and having like bad and destructive things happen, and then finding other relationships that were not ideal for me. But you know, that stuff we go through, the negative stuff that we go through, those become part of our path, and that is our teacher. So being able to find an idea of what a good relationship was and a system of how to find one, and somehow, I mean, this was manifesting. Like, essentially, I realized after the fact. I didn't realize it at the time, but I went from not understanding that good relationships existed or were possible to just having an innate desire and belief that I was capable of finding a good and loving relationship, and then finding the information that I needed to know to get there, and then working over a period of years. It can happen faster for some people, and some people who I've worked with, the cool thing is having this knowledge to share with people speeds it up for some people. It just depends on what you have to overcome. So anyways, for me, for a period of years, working on overcoming these blocks and these challenges that I had to overcome to find my person. And so thankful for him. And the reason I want to share that with people is because that is a bit of heaven on earth, to find your person and to share life with them. And I would love for as many people as possible to find healing and wholeness and find their person. So that was one example of how I have experienced success through manifestation. And another thing was my environmental activism, which I have stepped away from for a while, but it's always there. And I believe that I will be returning to it. Sorry, there's a bug here. But at a time when I was at a workshop, and I just started like in the workshop drawing, and what I ended up doing, and I didn't even know it, what I ended up doing was drawing my reality and a cool series of changes that would happen over like the next 2 years as an environmental activist. And there was a time to step away from that, but I think there will be a time to step back to that. But that was cool. Like, just doodling and dreaming about what I wanted to happen, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 all these things happened, and I had opportunities to take part and in the environmental movement. And I think I will come back to that. But I didn't even know what I was doing, but just the power of imagining and envisioning things, and how imagining things can bring things into life for you. I was dabbling with this as a public school teacher with my students, because something inside me told me that was imagination is the most powerful component of creativity. And so I started using that. The ironic thing is, at the time I was using this with middle schoolers, and my evaluator came in and like rated me ineffective for that, when it was the most powerful thing that I could have been doing. And I think like that's part of the reason I had to step away from the public school system, that I don't need somebody evaluating me, because they don't understand, and it actually like dumbs down what I am able to do. I don't need to be evaluated externally. Maybe, and some people actually do, but the way I work, I don't need that. And I feel for other people that are kind of in that system and don't have the opportunity to operate otherwise. But anyways, yeah, I just want to talk about manifestation, and those are some of my experiences with it, and something that I am deeply working on at this moment, manifestation. And it is challenging, manifesting the future parts of myself, envisioning a new self, and a new identity and a new future. And thank you for being here for the ride. So my ride is not linear, but it's exciting, and it's not predictable, and it's not supposed to be. So let's stay tuned together. Let's make good things happen. I get inspired by all of you, and I hope that I inspire you. Let's achieve what is possible. There are amazing things possible within this life, more than we know, and let's get in touch with that, and live life to the fullest. All right. If you made it to the end, thanks for listening. I'm so happy you're here. And let's make good things happen together. It's exciting to be on the planet together.